What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cleave to Antiquity. Today, I'm going to be talking about a Muslim mayoral candidate for New York City. We're about to find out if he is elected as mayor in 15 minutes. We're going to find this out at 9 p.m. Eastern, whether or not New York is going to become more and more Muslim. So this will be very interesting to see. He's made some very insane statements very recently. Let me know if my audio is good. Let me know in the comments if my audio is fine. Are you able to hear me before I dive more into this? Y'all having any issue with the audio at all? Let me know in the comments real quick before I continue on with the stream here. Anyone? Somebody leave a comment. There you go. Cool. Appreciate you, brother. All right. Good to see you again, Garcia family. Thanks for watching the stream. All right. Great. Sounds good. Awesome. Perfect. All right. So let me share something with y'all. So this guy that is running for mayor in New York City, well, first off, he belongs to the religion of Islam. But not only that, he's made some pretty shocking statements. This is a pretty blatantly socialist candidate. So this guy is a socialist Muslim mayoral candidate for New York City. They're eating him up right now. He was polling at maybe a 40% chance that he's going to win the Democratic primary here. So I'm going to share my screen with y'all, pull up something onto the stage, and I just want to watch some of the things that he's said in the past. Because what we've seen in the West, we've seen this kind of weakness that has enabled Islam to take over more and more and more of the West. In London, particularly, we have the London mayor is a Muslim, as well as other places within England, and we've seen how well that's done for them. We've got the riots, we've got several aspects of the government basically subverted. They're actually working to pass a law where it is going to be illegal to criticize Islam in the UK. We do not want this in America. We need to be very careful about who we elect. If you're watching this stream right now, I would encourage you to say a quick prayer. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's say a quick prayer real quick before we go forward, because we have about 15 minutes until the decision is announced. But I'm going to speak on this topic, and then I'm also going to dive into what else is going on in the world of Islam right now, why we should be aware as Americans, or whether or not we're in Europe, or whatever the case may be. As Christians, we need to be pushing back on this stuff. So let's say a quick prayer, everybody. Heavenly Father, God, we just pray for your divine protection, Lord. God, protect America, protect New York City, God. I pray that this Islamic candidate does not win and does not come into office, Lord. Protect us, Lord. God, we pray for your mercy. It is in Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen. All right, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to dive into some of the statements that this gentleman has made and why we should be concerned if he wins this election. So I'm going to share some posts from X. Let me know if there's an echo in the audio, because I'm going to try it without my headphones first. But if there's an echo, I'll put the headphones in. They're just kind of annoying.
Alhamdulillah, there are 1 million Muslims in this city. 200,000 of us are registered to vote as Democrats. In the last election, only 7% of us voted. Now, I will not blame anyone, because often it feels like there isn't much to vote for. But this June 24th, with early voting starting tomorrow, it is an opportunity. An opportunity for us to show that Muslims don't just belong in New York City, we also belong in City Hall. Because yesterday I stood on the debate, and Andrew Cuomo stood next to me. And here was a man who was the governor for a decade, and he could not name a single mosque he had ever visited. He could not name it because he does not care. Alhamdulillah, there are
So we've got the Muslim candidate there saying we need Muslims in City Hall, we need Muslims in government, we need to stand up for the Islamic ideal in America. We've seen what happens in London. We've seen what happens in Europe as more and more people who are adherents to Islam take office. And it's not pretty, folks. We have a lot of issues that are going on in Europe right now. I'm going to play a brief video real quick, and we'll dive into that too. Because they're basically under siege. Yeah. This would be the absolute worst for New York, but it would be God's judgment on the city. I mean, hey, man, yeah, that's rough. May God have mercy. Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. New York City is a very rough city, but imagine how much worse it would be if it was absolutely overrun by London. That was just the tip of the iceberg in the UK. Was London being overrun by Islamic refugees? Now look at the rest of the UK. I mean, you just had in France, all of those women were stabbed by syringes with unknown contents by an Islamic adherent over there. I mean, in the U.S., we just had attacks on a church, by a terrorist. So, I mean, we've got all sorts of stuff going on. I'm going to dive into this video real quick just to give you a taste of what is going on in London, why we should care if this stuff comes to the United States.
The mayor of London is Muslim. The mayor of Birmingham is a Muslim. The mayor of Leeds is Muslim. The mayor of Blackburn is Muslim. The mayor of Sheffield is Muslim. The mayor of Oxford is a Muslim. The mayor of Luton is a Muslim. The mayor of Oldham is a Muslim. The mayor of Rochdale is a Muslim. All of this was achieved by only 4 million Muslims out of the 66 million people in England. Today in England, there are over 3,000 mosques. There are over 130 Sharia courts in England, and there are more than 50 Sharia councils. 78% of Muslim women do not work and receive state support and free accommodation. 63% of Muslims do not work and receive state support and free housing. State-supported Muslim families have an average of 6 to 8 children who all receive free accommodation. Every school in the UK is required to teach about Islam. The #1 most common baby name in England is Muhammad. This is not immigration. This is invasion.
So you see, yeah, bankrupt. Absolutely. Yeah. So you see exactly what we're fighting against right now, coming into the United States. If we elect more and more of these people into office, if we elect an Islamic mayor in New York City, you can guarantee we'll see exactly what we saw in London. We'll see exactly what we see in the UK right now. We need to be pushing back against, promoting these people into high-ranking positions within our government. Now, again, this has nothing at all to do with race. This has to do with ideology. Islam is a violent religion. Islam's religion, literally, if you were to read the Hadiths in Sahih Bukhari, it says Muhammad was given a command by Allah to wage jihad until only Islam is left. So to wage jihad against all of the unbelievers in Islam. So until only Islam is left, you're basically allowing the enemies of your nation into positions of high-ranking officials. Now, there's reasons why the UK has gone downhill the way that it has lately, and it's because of who they are electing into these offices. And they're going to make it very soon passed into law where you cannot criticize Islam at all. Am I in New York City? No, I'm not. But I don't want to see New York City fall to Islam. That's a very slippery slope, man. You have a one major city fall like it did in Europe. You'll see the other major cities fall as well. So let's continue on into this. I'm just gonna talk about some of these topics while we wait. So another example of kind of how cooked the UK is right now. Since passing all of these different laws, they've gotten very soft. This is what happens when you push back on Christianity, when you make it like a kind of negative connotation to be Christian in public, or when the Christians are not speaking up about this type of stuff, when we're not speaking with our votes. You know what I mean? So we need to make sure that we're being active in the realm of politics. We're being active online, speaking out against this kind of stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos debunking the claims of Islam very soon here. Soon I'm going to have Anthony Rogers come on my channel. We're going to do a nice stream going through some of the different claims of Islam. I've done this stuff a lot in the past, kind of moved a little bit away from it, and in favor of doing the Eastern Orthodox, Roman Catholic apologetics bit. I'm still going to be focusing on that, but I'm going to do a lot of stuff on Islam as well because it's needed. It's absolutely needed. So let's take a look at what this nice officer has to say.
Religion you're allowed to do anywhere.
No, miss, you're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church grounds, by the way.
You're not allowed to sing church songs outside
Outside the church songs or church
You're not allowed
grounds. That's fine. That's
You're
fine.
not allowed. She just said you're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church.
Our church is outside the church grounds unless you have
That's
unless you
a load
been
of rubbish.
authorized by the
You're
church to
allowed.
do this kind of song.
You're not allowed to sing church songs outside the church. UK police officer, policewoman, harassing a Christian for singing hymns outside. Is this what we want to come to the United States? Let me know. Is this what you want to come to the United States? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll upset the Muslims. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely sad. The UK is almost completely fallen. You see the same thing going on in Germany. Multiple people who debate the subject of Islam, literally their travel visas are canceled. They can't even go into Germany. The same thing happens in the UK. They are silencing anybody that is speaking out against the Islamic invasion that is going on right now in their country. If you think this can't happen in the United States, you're absolutely nuts. I'm going to pull up, you know what? I've got a resource here that I want to cite from. Let me go ahead and pull this up because I've got some hadiths that can show you this isn't necessarily an issue with politics. This is an ideology issue. You've got an issue with the religion itself. Now you've got people who will state that Islam is a religion of peace. That's an absolute lie. If you were to read the texts that they are bound to, you would forget that idea very quickly. Let me see if I can pull up Sahih Bukhari. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, there you go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I'll pull up some of these hadiths just to go through. Went to the UK for a day. On the bus, the speakers were playing "See It, Say It," sordid dystopian type stuff here. Calvin Robinson moved to the US because of this issue in the UK. Don't agree with everything he does, but he was right on Islam in the UK. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. And you know, there's a lot of pushback against Calvin Robinson, but he's absolutely correct on Islam. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I plan on making this a focus for a while, diving into, you know, the anti-Islamic arguments. I'm going to pull up this resource right here and zoom in a bit so you can see this. So just so you know, I'm not just making this stuff up. Read this right here. Sahih Muslim. Okay, so it's Sahih Muslim 133. The Messenger of Allah said, "I have been commanded to fight against people till they testify there is no God but Allah, that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah." Okay, this is a binding, this is an authoritative hadith for Sunni Muslims. Okay. Oh, I'm not even sharing this on my screen. I'm such a boomer. All right, here you go. Let's see. Yeah, so the Messenger of Allah said, "I have been commanded to fight against people so long as they do not declare there is no God but Allah." This is all over the Hadith. This is all over the Quran. Islam is a religion of violence and subversion. There's a reason why every single country that has accepted in a big number of these refugees has ended up becoming subverted, weak, absolutely overran. They're taking up positions strategically, positions of power within these various governments. Guys, make sure to like this stream if you haven't already. I'm gonna continue to dive into this. We've got about 3 minutes until we find out whether or not this guy ended up getting elected to office in New York. So we'll find out. I'll keep you posted as soon as it drops on X. I'm following this guy's X page to see whether or not he won the primary here. So I'm going to read to you some of these hadiths. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back up to the top. Okay. Sahih Bukhari 52:177. Allah's apostle said, "The hour will not be established until you fight with the Jews, and the stone behind which a Jew will be hiding will say, 'O Muslim, there is a Jew hiding behind me, so beep him.'" I don't want to get the stream taken down, but you get the point. This is not a religion of peace. The people who say that this is a religion of peace is absolutely insane. They're absolutely insane. You've never read the texts. You've never read through the Quran. You've never read any of the Hadiths. You're absolutely brainwashed. Yeah. Yeah, he did. He did say that. Let me see if I can find that on X. Let me pull that up real quick. Because that was wild. What did that guy say? Yeah, here you go. All right, I'm gonna pull this up real quick and share the screen. Yeah, he said he would arrest Netanyahu if he became the New York City mayor. If Netanyahu came into New York, he said he would arrest him. So yeah, I mean the guy's a little unhinged. All right, let's see.
And Mayor Mamdani, would you welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for, given the US is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the US, unlike a lot of other countries. Would a Mayor Mamdani welcome Benjamin Netanyahu to the city?
No. As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Even though the US is not a signatory to the ICC?
No, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
And Mayor Mamdani.
So you have it there. He said if Netanyahu comes into New York City, he would arrest him. So, I mean, the guy's a little bit unhinged. Not only is he wanting to make New York City more Muslim, he said he would arrest Netanyahu if he ever came into New York City. So absolutely insane. All right, let me check in on this guy's page and see if he posted anything about the result, because it's just hit 9 o'clock. So I'll keep you updated as soon as I hear more to see if this gentleman has won the primary here. So let's see. Nothing yet. All right, so we'll continue on. Yeah, just try it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely insane. I mean, this is the age that we live in right now, to be completely honest. Which is a shame. I personally just don't want it within my country, because really what you see is within the UK. The UK is basically fallen. Okay, Ireland is basically fallen. Canada is getting cooked. All of these other countries are getting cooked. You see Christians being persecuted in Syria. There's Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. Christians being persecuted anywhere where there is basically a Muslim majority. And now you're seeing all of these attacks happening in France. We just had the syringe attacks in France at that festival in which multiple people were injected. You have the in Syria, where that church, basically the guy went in there and took out a whole bunch of Christians during a divine liturgy. I mean, absolutely insane. So you've got basically the United States and, I mean, to a lesser extent, Australia. Australia is kind of falling away as well. But you basically just got the United States holding the line. Every single other country just about has been subverted by Islam. So, I mean, what happens when they become the majority? They start to persecute the Christians. So if you allow this to take root in America, then you're setting up a future in which your kids are going to be paying the jizya. I mean, that's basically it. Yeah, France as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, make sure to like the live stream. I don't know if there's is there like a bunch of other live streams going on right now? Or are people just not interested in this kind of topic? Because typically we're pumping like 90, 100 views on live streams. So this is kind of low right now. But make sure to like the live stream so more and more people will start piling in. All right, I'm going to go over some more hadiths just to give you guys some more information on this, and we'll keep an eye on whether or not this gentleman won the primary here, because this will be bad news. This will be bad news for America if he does win. We're going to set ourselves up for a world of hurt. Okay. So again, you have multiple examples within the Hadiths, multiple examples within. All right. So he's up 9 points with 38% reporting. I can't see the like button on my phone's app. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's continue to dive into it. So the Quran's verses on Islam, or the Hadith's verses on Islam. Okay, so let's continue on with this, okay? Sahih Bukhari 52:256. The Prophet was asked whether it was permissible to attack the pagan warriors at night with the probability of exposing their women and children to danger. The Prophet replied, they're pagans. No big deal. Go wipe them all out. It doesn't matter. These guys are pagans. This is what they think about you, man. I mean, you just see it all over the place. I don't necessarily think this is a shock to anyone. We've kind of woken up to this lately, at least online. A lot of people have been speaking up about the nonsense related to Islam and the Quran and the Hadith. So a lot of this stuff is well known at this point. You had Sam Shimon that was doing a good job breaking down the claims of Islam, but that has kind of gone a little insane lately, in my opinion. I mean, you just see him kind of lashing out at everybody that he talks to nowadays. So that's a little rough. I guess another thing, I'm gonna pull up some of these things that I had bookmarked on X. Hold on one moment. Mamdani is leading on New York Times. RIP. Yeah, that would be rough. United Nations headquarters is in New York City, so not sure how that would work. 43% Mamdani, 34% Cuomo. Cuomo's not good either, but the lesser of two evils. You know what I mean? I mean, with Mamdani, if he was going to win, if he actually wins this primary, if he were to win the actual election, it would be game over for New York City. It's already been downhill for quite a while. They've been flooding New York to come to Florida and the other southern states, mostly Florida, buying up all the houses over here. They left so quickly during COVID, they literally doubled the rent prices in Florida. Literally doubled the rent prices in Florida. When I first moved to the city that I'm in now, my rent for a 3-bedroom house was like $850 a month. Okay. Before I bought a house, when I left that home not that long ago, the rent was double that amount because of all the New Yorkers coming to Florida. So absolutely insane. Yeah, Cuomo being a papist, common L. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. Just keep New York City in prayer. It's gonna be really rough if these individuals if this guy actually gets into office, because he's gonna do some damage. Let me pull something up real quick. I mean, you see this kind of systematic takeover of different positions as well as different religious institutions within the United States by Islamic adherents, and you see it continuing in other places, even in Florida, which I was just talking about. This has been going around for quite a while, but this is in a mosque in Florida. This gentleman preaching here.
We are buying these churches. We bought 3 churches so far, converted them to masjids, and now we have one we are buying with a school to make it, because we have to serve the same people. The people who were part of that community, one day they will be Muslims. So we'll make it into a masjid and an Islamic school for our children and their children, inshallah. 100 years ago, they invaded the Muslim world and they built missionary schools and destroyed Islamic schools and masjids. Today, we bring the favor back, turn their churches into masjids and their schools into Islamic schools. bring the light of Islam to here. We're able to buy ready to go institutions that have been there for a long time, but they emptied out. And now it is time to be filled with Muslims, with reverts.
So they're buying up churches in Florida and turning them into mosques. They want to make Florida an Islamic state within the United States. They want to spread Islam. You heard it from the horse's mouth right here. He said, we're doing this for future Muslims, for future people who are in these communities to convert to Islam. This is the danger that many people are not talking about now. A lot of people don't think that this stuff can come to the United States. But you see, this is already going on. This is in the game plan in Florida. They have resources. You have these churches that are dying out, people not attending anymore because people are becoming more and more secular. And then the Muslims are buying up the churches and turning them into mosques. What do you think they're doing? Do you think they're being silent about this stuff? No, I'll tell you, as somebody who has done street evangelism for quite some time, as I go out and I speak to people about the gospel, anytime I come up to a Muslim, anytime I come up to somebody who is an adherent to Islam, they're already out there proselytizing. They're already out there talking to people about Islam, trying to fool little old ladies and make them shaken in their faith if they are Christians. I went out there with a bunch of young guys from my church one time, and they came up to me and said that the Muslims there were trying to shake their faith and they were giving them Qurans. Luckily, they knew a little better and they were able to push back. But I was like, ah, man, I wish I had ran into that guy, because I would have wrecked him with facts and logic. You know what I mean? I would have debated him right then and there. That's like when Jehovah's Witnesses knock on your door or something. I had a Jehovah's Witness knock on my door not that long ago, but I was working and I was like, dude, like I've been training for this my entire life. I want to debate this guy, but I was in the middle of doing something, so I couldn't get the door. So it was like, well, I did have a Jehovah's Witness stop me in the middle of the mall one time and give me a tract, and I debated him right then and there. I pulled up Philippians 2, in which it states that Jesus Christ, being in very nature God, did not consider his equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself, basically took on human nature. So I pulled that up with him, and he's like, oh, see, that says that he didn't consider himself equal with God. I'm like, no, it says he did not consider his equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. The guy just got really quiet. And I was like, hey, man, I was like, you got to repent and believe the gospel. I offered to pray with him, and he's like, oh, no. We don't pray in public. I'm like, come on, dude. I'm like, well, I tell you what, I'm going to pray for you. And he started walking. He just basically walked away. And I hope that guy, I hope there was a pebble in that guy's shoe. And he started to think about that as he went home. You know what I mean? Absolutely. The more you make videos about Islam, the more people will come in here to watch. Most people who are subscribed are probably here for the internal church debates. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the audience just needs to get built more, because most people are probably interested in the Roman Catholic, Eastern Orthodox apologetics bit, which I do quite a lot. And there is a lot of Eastern Orthodox Roman Catholic stuff going on right now that's kind of interesting. The guy from Capturing Christianity, Cameron Bertuzzi, challenged Jay Dyer to a debate. On whether or not Muslims have the same God as Christians. What do you think about that? That's insane. Whether or not Muslims have the same God as Christians. The Roman Catholics have been running crazy right now, trying to defend Vatican II. I mean, every single Roman Catholic influencer, every single Roman Catholic apologetics guy on YouTube right now is rushing to defend Vatican II, stating that Muslims have the same God as Christians. So Cameron Bertuzzi made a call-out video to Jay Dyer stating that, they want to debate or whatever. He had William Albrecht on his stream, and he was saying like, we challenged Jay Dyer to a debate. Jay Dyer, come out and debate us whether or not Muslims have the same God as Christians. And he challenged Jay, and Jay was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, I had a debate with Jay Dyer, and we disagree on some things, but that's one thing that we absolutely agree on. Muslims do not have the same God as Christians. You cannot reject the Trinity. You cannot reject Jesus Christ's divinity and say you have the same God. That is an ontological difference. You're denying who God is ontologically. Yeah, bro's cooked. I thought he said he wasn't a debater. Another lie from Cameron. Well, Cameron's not, to be fair, Cameron's not the one that's going to be debating. It's his like squad or whatever. He's got some Roman Catholic scholars that are going to be debating for him. And he's going to host it on his channel or something. I did a video for members earlier today talking about some of that stuff, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I think I underestimate the danger of Islam, but I do see a big need for Protestant apologetics online that the show helps. Hey, I appreciate you subscribing to the channel, man. And yeah, the danger of Islam is ever present. You see issues in the United Kingdom. You see issues all over Europe right now. The biggest threat in the world at this moment, and has been for the last 1,000 years, the biggest threat in the world has been Islam. If you don't understand any of the geopolitics of Islam or any of the history, why the Crusades happened in the first place, the Islamic expansion, literally just Google Islamic expansion. The entire purpose from its inception has been to obtain land, and the entire history of Islam is basically Muslims attacking Christians and stealing their land. So this is nothing new. This is stuff that's been happening for thousands of years at this point. So this is nothing new. This is in the Quran. This is in the Hadiths. This is in the history of Islam. Attack the Christian lands, take the Christian lands. Look at the Islamic expansion. There's a famous GIF I'm going to pull up real quick. Islamic expansion map GIF. Yeah, there you go. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. So, I mean, this is common knowledge. This is common, but a lot of people don't talk about this nowadays. You just kind of like see this like normie history stuff that you get in like public school or something. You know what I mean? And not a lot of people are talking about the dangers of Islam and the history of the dangers of Islam. But you got Roman Catholics saying they share the same God as them. All right, so wait till the GIF restarts. Let's see if I can zoom in. Zooming in don't help with this GIF. All right, so you got it starting here. 632 AD. Just look at how rapidly they take over land. So this is the Islamic expansion. Okay, continues on. It pushes up that little land bridge up at the top. On the other side of that land bridge is Constantinople. They eventually take that over too. But if you notice on the left side, they actually push into Spain and take over parts of Europe. There you go. See that little tip over there on the left-hand side? There you go. Boom. They took over Spain. That's where Reconquista comes from, is when the Christians pushed back and retook Spain after the Muslims slaughtered everybody and took over the land from us. So you can see the danger. This has been the way Islam has been since the very beginning, taking over Christian lands. And if basically it was, hey, if you can stay Christian, you get a couple of choices. You either convert to Islam or you're going to pay the jizya, which is like an increased tax for people who are not Muslims in their lands. So absolutely insane. All right, so we got Wilhelmus van Diver, the new Islamic dilemma. If Catholicism is true, Jesus is God. If Jesus is God, Allah is not. Catholicism says Islam has the same God, therefore Catholicism is false. Protestantism for the win. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good way to put it. I made a video recently where I was saying, if you are comfortable as a Catholic saying that Islam has the same God as you, right, that the Muslims have the same God as you, they're worshiping the same God, then you should be comfortable saying you as a Catholic worship the God of Islam. No Catholic's going to say that, but you should be comfortable. It logically follows. If Muslims have the same God as you, you should be comfortable saying that you worship the God of Islam. But it's absolutely absurd. Vatican II is indefensible. Absolutely indefensible. Now, I had a debate with Jay Dyer not that long ago, And you know, it was kind of funny. There was a true Orthodox guys that shared a clip from that debate that I thought was pretty funny. They made like a little edit of it. Let me share that with you guys because I thought that was funny. We were talking about Eastern Orthodox canon law, and Jay Dyer basically said something along the lines of the bishops can kind of do whatever they want. They can reject canons in perpetuity, the ecumenical councils. It just makes the ecumenical councils not mean anything. It's like, okay, the ecumenical councils don't actually mean anything. You can just kind of reject them willy-nilly, whatever you want to do, which is not the case. But, oh, you know what? I might not be able to play that video because I think he has copyrighted music in it. Man, but basically, long story short, I kind of want to play the video, but it'd probably get the live stream taken down. Oh well. Anyway, he got to the end of that, into the debate there, and Jay finally admitted. He said, "Yeah, I believe that the bishops have the ability to reject the canons of ecumenical councils in perpetuity. So they can just reject aspects of the ecumenical councils. The issue with that is it makes your ecumenical councils, which is supposed to be the basis of infallible tradition, it just makes them subjective because any guy can just change it. Any guy can just reject aspects. What was even the point of having the ecumenical council if you can just abandon its teachings over time? It doesn't make any sense, but that's what he put forth in the debate there. But economia, Orthodox Calvin ball. Yeah, economia basically says that they have leeway in individual application of canons. It doesn't say that they have the ability to reject them in perpetuity, which is an absolute lie, but that's what Jay was pushing forward. So kind of interesting there. I think I might have the original short from that debate. Let's see here. Jay Dyer, cleave to antiquity, debate. Let's see if I can find a short. Because I had a short, or maybe I posted it in the video or something. Yeah, it might have been in a video. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can pull up just that part, and then I'll share that on the screen. Yeah, this was kind of the mic drop of that entire debate. It was like 30 minutes of him not understanding what I was saying, and then we finally got to the point at the very end where he acknowledged the point that I was pushing forward was, are you just saying that the bishops can just reject them whenever they want? I'm not talking about individual application. You could say, okay, maybe I'm not going to apply the punishment in this instance or whatever the case may be. That's economia. We said that at the very beginning. But at the very end of the debate, he was kind of like, oh, actually, they could just reject them whenever they want. Let's see. Hold on. Share that on my screen right quick.
That's what we just said for the 5th time.
Yeah, in each individual case, man. In each individual case. That's oikonomia, right? But not whether or not you outright reject the canon.
No, that's exactly what they can do. They can decide that canon no longer applies.
Okay, no longer applies in perpetuity?
Yeah, sure.
Now, that is in stark contrast to other Eastern Orthodox figures like Father Peter Heers, and we can watch him say this in this clip.
What Canon 46 says of the apostles. We order any bishop or priest that has accepted any heretic's baptism or sacrifice to be deposed. So that genuinely wonderful priest, I'm sure, who told me they have mysteries, we accept them. According to Canon 46, he should be deposed. So you have to reject the canon, or you have to say, Father, stop teaching nonsense because you're going to be deposed. No, reject the canon. That's what is usually the case. They're not really apostolic canons. They're not authoritative, whatever. Unbelievable. But that's what we're doing today. Apostolic Canon 47. If a bishop or priest baptize anyone anew that has had a true baptism, or fail to baptize anyone that has been polluted by the impious, obviously that means the heterodox. That means those who have rejected the faith of the church. Let him be deposed. And he's deposed on the grounds that he is mocking the cross and death of our Lord and for failing to distinguish priests from pseudo-priests. This is the canons of the ecumenical council. Let's start there. Let's agree that these are authoritative. If we can't do that, are we Orthodox? On what basis are we even talking?
That is also in stark contrast to the witness of the Eastern Orthodox saints. Let's read this citation from St. Nicodemus of the Holy Mountain. The sacred canons of the holy apostles and of the ecumenical and local councils are to remain in force perpetually, as they are the voice of the Holy Spirit through the fathers, binding upon the entire church. None may reject or annul them, for they are established for the governance and salvation of the faithful, and their authority endures unless an ecumenical council with equal divine inspiration decrees otherwise. So very clear what his position was. The canon. So basically he says you can reject the canons of ecumenical councils in perpetuity if you're a bishop. Bishops can just reject them. They don't have to apply them. It doesn't matter. That makes your system subjective. That would be an issue epistemically within the Eastern Orthodox Church if that was true. It's not true, though. The Rudder actually says the exact opposite. It says you are bound to these councils. You are bound to the canons of these ecumenical councils, even if you're a bishop. So anyway, I thought that was funny. True Orthodox guy shared that on his page and made an edit. I was going to play that, but I think the music in there might be copyrighted. So I don't want to get the stream taken down there. So I guess Mamdani's still in the lead. Let's look at some of the other stuff that he's pitched, because he's kind of like a socialist dude. He wants to make state-run grocery stores in New York City. How well has communism and socialism been for food distribution? How well has that done in the past? So what part of the councils are infallible if not the canons? Exactly. Is it just kind of like the general idea? Just kind of like, oh, well, I guess the Nicaea 1, Arius was a bad guy. Just the general idea? No, it's the canons. The canons is what makes it, is what you're following. That's the decrees of the councils. All right, so let's look at this. He wants to make basically state-run grocery distribution or grocery stores, I guess. He wants to see, yeah. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day, depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zahran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive or having to pay property taxes or rent, and will pass on those savings to you.
So his pitch is state-run grocery stores. Yeah. How well has communism done with food distribution in the past? Absolutely horrible. I mean, you've got the long lines, people literally starving to death. I mean, isn't that the hallmark of communism? Starvation. So he wants to have a socialist government-run grocery store chain in New York City, and he says this is going to lower food prices. The real reason that food prices are so high in New York City is because the housing prices are so high, and it's also because they tax them out the wazoo. So absolutely insane. All right, what did this guy say? Can you engage Eastern Orthodox directly from the text of the Rudder? How authoritative is it? So it used to be basically the main canon law text for the Eastern Orthodox. Now the Russian Orthodox Church uses the Nomo canon, but it says the same thing in reference to whether or not you should hold the canons of the ecumenical councils. That's never been something that's been disputed. If you were to read any ecumenical council, they affirm the canons of the previous ecumenical council. Say these must still be in force. All right, read literally Canon 1 of Chalcedon says we affirm all of the canons of the previous ecumenical councils. It's not as if these are things that are like, these are only applying for a specific period of time or whatever the case may be. No, these are meant to be in place perpetually. But that's why we as Protestants, we would say that tradition is fallible, because you see multiple instances of these ecumenical councils contradicting themselves, as well as canons of ecumenical councils that are just no longer held to in any of these faith traditions. Did the Muslim guy win? Not yet. We haven't found out yet. Yeah, we're still waiting on the final result to see whether or not this gentleman is going to be the new mayor of New York City, which would be a nightmare, an absolute nightmare for America if we were to let that happen. So very unfortunate if he does win. I mean, Christians are being persecuted all around the world. It's not good to welcome this stuff into our backyard. I mean, this is a guy that literally, you see him here sitting and eating with Hassan Piker, who said America deserves 9/11. He's hanging out with this guy. This is the kind of person that we want to run New York City, let alone the fact that he's an adherent to Islam. This was the same guy that was doing protests for Palestine. He was doing the Free Palestine protests in New York City. So not only is he an adherent to Islam, this is an activist. So you don't think this guy has any kind of Islamic agenda whatsoever? He's literally campaigning Free Palestine, out there chanting with everyone, saying he wants to make New York more Muslim. Yeah, insane. Absolutely insane. Make sure to like the stream if you want to see more content like this. If you have theological questions for me, feel free to drop some Q&A in the chat. Maybe I'll adjust the title to include Q&A and more people will come in. I think it's the Islam topic that really drives people away. Maybe it's oversaturated. I don't know. What do you guys think? Or is it just not the fan base right now? Let's continue on with it. So yeah, there was a terrorist attack in Wayne, Michigan. Christians are under attack everywhere. Just super slow reaction. I mean, nothing bad happens in this particular video, but you just see them leaving the church here. So I mean, we as Christians, we got to be prepared all the time. We have to be prepared all the time. When I go and preach, when I'm in church, I always carry Sting, keeps the goblins away. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful as a Christian. Just recently in Syria, there was a terror attack in which somebody came in and literally blew himself up in the middle of a church. This stuff is happening left and right. Christianity is under attack. We are under attack, and the common culprit is Islam. All right, I have a couple questions here. What are your thoughts on lordship salvation? I think the term itself is fake. It's used usually by once saved, always saved adherents. I do not hold to once saved, always saved, so that should probably answer your question. Typically, people who adhere to once saved, always saved will apply that title to anybody that doesn't hold to once saved, always saved. Does your church do infant baptism? Yeah, does your church do infant baptism? No, it doesn't, but I believe that infant baptism is correct. So that would be an area where me and my senior pastor disagree. Now, I would like to reform within the church. And as a non-denominational, somebody asked me, what denomination am I a part of? I'm an associate pastor in a non-denominational church. So in a non-denominational church, you have a little more influence than you would in other denominations, where you would have to, if you're trying to do any kind of reform, you kind of have to work all the way up through the ladder and things like that. With this, it's at the congregational level. So it's a little bit easier to have those kinds of conversations with leadership and things like that. So let's see. Yeah, I understand what lordship salvation means. Yes, absolutely. Genuine faith is evident by good works. Absolutely. I mean, that's just Christianity. If you were to say that you could live an absolutely degenerate life, unrepentant, and live your entire life like that, you just prove that you don't have faith to begin with. You just prove that you don't have faith to begin with. You would have to ignore a lot in the Bible to pretend otherwise, to be completely honest. So lordship salvation is kind of a misnomer. Most people who will use this term are people who adhere to like kind of easy believism. Easy believism. All I have to do is say the prayer and then I'm saved. That's absolutely fake. That is absolutely fake. Let's see here. How was your experience with Ruslan? Ruslan was a cool guy. Well, still is a cool guy. He didn't change. But Ruslan was pretty cool. I went there. We had dinner the night before the show, and then afterwards we were lifting some weights in the backyard, doing some deadlifts, benching, all sorts of stuff. Zach was there lifting weights too. So it was cool getting to hang out with them and just being able to chat and stuff. I got to, meet the fam and all that kind all that kind of fun stuff. I really didn't do anything other than that when I went over there. It was pretty much all business. I flew in, went on the show, flew out the next day, basically. Evening. Hey, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. Yeah, he justifies, he sanctifies. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't believe in easy believism. That's kind of it's false teaching. To say that you can just basically live however you want. Oh, but I'm covered. It's just fire insurance for me. I said the prayer when I was 8. I said that I welcomed Jesus into my heart when I was 8, and I just lived an unrepentant, sinful life for the rest of my life. I don't really care about following the religion at all. I would not expect, if that is you, I would not expect to be waking up in heaven if that is the case. I should probably change the title of the stream to like Q&A or something, so I can get some people in here asking questions. If you want to ask me questions, feel free. Go ahead and send them in now as we're waiting on the result to see whether or not this Muslim gentleman won the bid for the primary here in New York. So we have a Islamic mayoral candidate running for the office of mayor in New York City. If he wins, it will be a dystopian nightmare for New Yorkers. So yeah, it'll be pretty bad. Let's see. Maybe I can't change the title midstream. Whatever. Really appreciated the video on the canons today. Really hoping that this channel grows like crazy. Hey, absolutely. Absolutely. I post a short every single day for y'all. So I hope those things are helpful. I've got a ton of notes. When I was starting this channel, I basically I was doing a lot of debates on Discord and other platforms and things like this. And was doing really well. I actually had a debate with Jay Dyer before I was on YouTube. That wasn't recorded. I went into his Discord server after winning a bunch of debates in the Orthodox Meme Squad Discord server. They sent me over there and they were like, "Oh, you think you're so good? Go debate Jay Dyer." So I did. I got banned within 10 minutes of our debate. And then they banned me from that server too. So, but Redeem Zoomer reached out and he said that I should make a YouTube channel. So eventually I ended up doing that. I've been doing this ever since. I have a ton of notes on the church fathers that I would use in those debates. So I use them all in the shorts that I post every day. All right. So let's see, bro, you're non-denom. For some reason, I thought you were Lutheran. A lot of my beliefs line up with Lutheranism. Let's see. Thoughts on patterns of evidence? I have no idea. I've never heard of it. No idea. Any other plans on collaborating with Christian YouTubers or future debates? Yeah, if you check out my live tab, I have appearances every single Thursday where I'm collaborating with another Christian YouTuber. I've got Javier Perdomo coming on this Thursday. I've got Kelly Powers coming on the channel tomorrow to talk about Vatican II. Javier Perdomo, we're going to talk about the Immaculate Conception. Several collabs coming up in the near future. And I'm going to be doing even more. I'm going to have, just a ton of people coming on very soon. So just out of curiosity, why not just be Lutheran? Why be non-denominational? You literally sound Lutheran. Yeah, I understand that. The biggest thing, to be completely honest, the biggest thing that prevents me from joining the LCMS, and I'll be completely honest about this, is the crux theologium, which is basically the theologian's cross. Okay. They, in my opinion, and Lutherans, I'm sorry if this upsets you. In my opinion, I think the Lutherans shot themselves in the foot when they said that they are predestined to heaven, but not predestined to hell. And then it's like, it's kind of written off as it's too complicated to understand, or it's like a mystery or something. But it's called the theologian's cross because it's extremely hard to reconcile the two views. Because if you're predestined to heaven and it's not in accordance with foreknowledge, as is the classical Arminian view, which is what I hold, you are predestined to heaven. But it is based on foreknowledge. Foreknowledge of what? Foreknowledge of if you came to the faith and stayed in the faith for the rest of your life. Okay. but that's not the Lutheran position. So I think without that, it's very difficult to reconcile the two positions. So that would be my biggest obstacle to becoming LCMS, would be that, because this is my thing, man. I don't want to accept something that I don't believe just because I line up with it, you know, in a lot of different ways. Soteriology matters. So yeah, crazy. Come back with a voice changer and a different account. So go debate him again. I mean, it doesn't matter. We debated on YouTube already. So, you know, and he's blocked me on X and several other platforms too. So there's really no way for us to get in contact, nor do I really care. I'm not like an anti Jay Dyer guy. When is my live stream with Anthony Rogers on Islam? Enjoyed the previous live stream you had with him. Good question. Let me pull up my posts, my lives that are coming up. All right. So I've got a ton of stuff. Let me just share my screen. This will be easier. I've got a ton of stuff coming up. So y'all should get excited. If you don't check out the live tab that often, I have a lot of stuff coming up. So we've got tomorrow, Kelly Powers coming into the channel to discuss Vatican II. Okay. The next day, Javier Perdomo will be on the channel. We'll be talking about the Immaculate Conception. Okay. I just realized I wasn't sharing my screen. I do that so much. Anthony Rogers is coming on the channel on the 3rd to discuss Islam, same topic that we're discussing today. Okay. Joshua Shuping, former Eastern Orthodox priest, is going to come on the channel on the 10th to discuss why you should join the LCMS rather than becoming Eastern Orthodox, because that's what he did. He used to be an Orthodox priest. He left, was served in a church as like a kind of interim period for a very short period of time, and then became a Lutheran pastor and has stayed there ever since. On the 11th, I've got Redeemed Zoomer coming on the channel to discuss Protestant apologetics. After that, I've got another guy, Reasoned Answers, who does anti-Islamic apologetics, to come on and discuss how he was literally fired in the United States for speaking out about Islam online. This guy literally lost his job for talking about Islam online in the United States. He's going to come on and tell his story. He does a lot of, he's got a lot of good content, breaking down Islamic arguments. He does debates, all sorts of stuff. Okay, and then after that, I've got the guy from Answering Adventism, who has just recently jumped into Protestant apologetics. He is running at it hard with his new channel. He's going to be a rock star. So he's going to come on and talk about his new channel. Answering Adventism had about 15,000 subscribers. And now he's making a new channel to dive into Protestant apologetics. Within a couple of days, was already over 1,000 subscribers. So I've got a ton of stuff coming up. And then we also have our members only debate, which is going to be, you guys, it'll still go public 2 weeks after, but it's going to go live for the members first. Okay. It'll be between Father James, he's an Anglican, and Father Joseph, who's a true Orthodox priest. And they're going to debate Sola Scriptura. That's going to go live for members only August 7th. And then it's going to go public for everybody else 2 weeks later. So if you want to catch that live, consider becoming a member on the channel. It really helps, and it helps to support the channel. Yeah, that new channel is fabulous. Yeah, it's an awesome channel. It'll be great. Pastor Shuping, yeah, he's a great guy. I'm excited to have him on. Okay. I heard Cameron Bertuzzi is looking to moderate a debate with Joe Heschmeyer and someone else. Kelly Powers is trying to get in. Would you be up for that debate? Okay, so let me talk about this. So Joe Heschmeyer invited me. Cameron Bertuzzi actually invited me for a debate with Joe Heschmeyer on the 66 book canon. Okay. The problem with the debate offer is he offered that to a buddy of mine before, because what happened was it was offered to somebody else. So they said, no, I'm not interested. Ask Cleave to Antiquity or Javier Perdomo. Okay. So they asked my buddy, and basically they were like, okay, well, we're going to go ask Javier. We don't want to do it with Cleave. So they go and they ask Javier first. And they say, we'll do the 66 canon. He says, okay, but can I push back on the 73? They say, no, you can't do that, which is absurd. How are you going to do a debate on the canon of scripture if I can't push back on the Apocrypha? So they backed out of that offer with him. And then they made that big post mentioning a bunch of different people, but it's the same premise. You're defending the 66 book canon without being able to push back on the 73. So what I said, Joe, dude, I'll debate you. I don't really care, but I'm not accepting that absurd premise. So if you want to debate me, you can call in whenever you want. I'll set up something. We'll just do something on my channel and go. You know what I mean? I'll debate the canon with you, but I got to be able to push back on the Apocrypha. It literally doesn't make any sense. That's like debating Islam with a Muslim and saying you can't mention the Quran. It's absolutely absurd. So I can't push back on your position at all. Crazy. Hey, thanks for coming a member. I appreciate that. I've been uploading new members content pretty regularly. I'm going to keep the upload cadence the same on this channel. I'm going to keep the upload cadence public the same, but I'm going to do at least 1 or 2 members videos a week as well, because I want to make sure I'm giving content for the members that's pretty good. I just posted one today. I did one a couple of days ago. We're going to have more members events where I'll have guests on. I'll do Q&As, all sorts of fun stuff. Stay tuned. So if you guys want to sign up for memberships, it is going to be a blast. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Do you subscribe to branch theory? If so, how would you defend it due to the lack of evidence from the early church? God bless. Now, there are several branches. Would I necessarily defend it? I don't know if I would articulate it the same way that some Anglicans do, because I think that can be, I think it's a helpful illustration. Do I think that they're all different branches? I don't know if the terminology is helpful. I think there's one church, but the church is an invisible church, right? That's the ultimate thing. Now, I know branch theory says the same thing, but they break it off into different branches or whatever, and these are all just different expressions of the same truth. I don't necessarily think it's a helpful articulation of the issue. The way that I would kind of defend my view is by citing, well, one, the namesake of the channel, St. Vincent of Lérins, and multiple other church fathers express a point in their writings that say something along the lines of, at some point, it is likely that not only a part of the church will fall into heresy, but the entire visible aspect of it. And what do you do in that instance? Well, it's the Catholic Christian's job to then cleave to antiquity. That's where I get the name for this channel, St. Vincent of Lérins' Commoditorium. There are other church fathers that write about similarly. Some say cling to the scriptures. Some say cleave to antiquity. Some say cleave to the teaching of the early church, or whatever the case may be. But the point being, you don't have this idea that modern Roman Catholics and Eastern Orthodox have, where basically orthodoxy is going to be preserved within that one visible institution. You know what I mean? What we're trying to do as Protestants is go back to what the early church taught, the earliest of the early church, not talking about the 4th century, 5th century accretions, right? Like the Immaculate Conception. Some Roman Catholic scholars state that the Immaculate Conception wasn't actually formally expressed until 1,000 years. The next millennium, 1,000 years after Christ. Now, I don't know if I would agree that it's that late, but there are Roman Catholic scholars that admit that. They can't defend anything without the Apocrypha, right? Just running from Trent. I don't know what that means. Very based. Yeah, absolutely. Found him. Canon and Creed. Yeah, Canon and Creed. He's the new channel for the guy that runs Answering Adventism. This is his channel. If you haven't seen it yet, right here. So go ahead and go ahead and subscribe to him if you haven't. He's gonna post some interesting stuff. This is a guy that's in the PCA. So he's a conservative mainline Protestant, and he's trying to dive into the realm of Protestant apologetics. He's been wanting to do it for a little while. We were kind of emailing back and forth when he told me that he wanted to make the transition. This is a guy that's actually friends with Joe Heschmeyer as well. Joe has popped on his channel a couple of different times. So, I mean, he's only been active on this channel for a couple of days, but he's posting stuff pretty regular. So, yeah, look at the upload cadence there. 8 days ago, 6 days ago, 4 days ago, 1 day ago. So he's uploading pretty consistently. So it's not like a channel that's just starting up and it's just going to die out. Yeah, very based. Absolutely. Any other questions for me? Let's do some Q&A while we wait on the results this election. I'll keep going for a little while longer. Any other questions you guys want to send in Q&A? Super chats, super appreciated. If you have not already, go ahead and like the live stream, so that way more people can join in here. We get some more stuff going on in the chat. Would be pretty awesome. Yeah, I've got a couple debate prospects. I'm trying to set up something. I'm trying to thoughts on the Moravian Church. I really don't know too much about them, to be completely honest. I'm not a Calvinist. If I recall, they were what, Calvinists, right? I'm not a Calvinist. I'm a classical Arminian. Favorite Christian book? Yeah, I really don't know too much about the Moravian Church, to be completely honest. Okay, favorite Christian book other than the Bible. All right, so my favorite Christian book other than the Bible would be The Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis. I've read through that text more than a dozen times. I've read through it multiple times. It's a great devotion, very ancient devotion. It was very good for me when I was a new Christian. It helped me to learn humility, helped me to helped me to carry my cross, to embrace suffering. So yeah, The Imitation of Christ is an excellent book. Do anathema statements by church fathers imply infallibility of the church? What do you mean by that? Are you talking about? I'm not sure what that question means. Can you elaborate? How do I circle infant baptism with predestination? I thought most proponents of infant baptism were Reformed or Catholic. What do you mean? How do I circle infant baptism with predestination? Where's the disconnect? Where's the disconnect? Yeah, absolutely. I think it just makes sense. Read 1 Peter. To be completely honest, I'll pull that up real quick. 1 Peter 1. And I'll go ahead and share my screen right quick. I think it is pretty apparent within the scriptures. All right, Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to God's elect, exile scattered throughout the provinces of Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, Bithynia, who have been chosen according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through the sanctifying work of the Spirit, to be obedient to Jesus Christ and sprinkled with his blood. Grace and peace be yours in abundance. So chosen due to the foreknowledge of God the Father, according to the foreknowledge of God the Father. So are we elect arbitrarily? Are we elect just because he wanted to? In a sense, yes, but it's according to the foreknowledge of God the Father. The foreknowledge of what? In my opinion, the foreknowledge of, if we come to the faith, remain in the faith until we die. Okay, that's why I'm a classical Arminian. I would say that it is apparent in the scriptures that we are elect in accordance with God's foreknowledge. Okay, let's see. Any other debates or any other questions here? Video with Dr. Jordan Cooper. He said he would do a video with me, and I've tried reaching out to him, and I have not heard anything back yet. So maybe. For me, it's the Book of Concord. That's your second favorite book. Awesome. Hey, I love the LCMS. I only have one issue with it, but I need to have that reconciled before I even consider joining. Question, ever try Sam Shimon? Have I ever tried what? Debating him? What, do a call-in stream or something? Call into a stream? I don't think Sam would let me up on the stage. I might try to call him and debate him on Vatican II. I was going to, and I sat in the back for quite a while, and then he actually pulled up on the stage, asked him the same question. He muted him and kicked him from the stage. So I don't know if it'll be a waste of time for me to call in, but maybe if I'm bored, I'll try that. The problem with that is they just mute you, and then you can't really get your argument out, so it's kind of annoying. With my call-in streams, I try not to mute people, and not say anything about it. They'll play it off as if they didn't mute the guy, though. and they'll just talk over him like, ha ha ha, look, he doesn't have anything to say. You know, it's really like scummy. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do a call-in stream with him or something. I would, he's welcome to come. Literally anyone is welcome to come on this channel and debate me. I'm not scared to debate any single apologist out there. Come on here and debate me. The thing that I don't like is I don't like the scummy moderation that happens in a lot of these debates. If you were to watch that Tim Pool, Jay Dyer debate with Timothy Gordon and all of them, Tim Pool literally, he broke the third wall in the middle of that debate and said, actually, I think the Catholic position is true, which is the only reason that Timothy Gordon came out looking like he won. So he got the optics victory, even though his arguments were awful. And that's why Jay Dyer was getting mad. And I don't blame him for that, to be completely honest. Now, I want to do a debate with this guy, Sips with Sarah. There was a poll I did on my channel that got 1,000 likes, or 1,000 likes, 1,000 votes on that. They said they wanted me to vote to debate that guy on Sola Scriptura, but I have not gotten a response back from him. I would also like to debate Iron Inquisitor, several other people that I would love. I would love to debate. Can't find a lot about Armenian faith. Well, not Armenian. You are the first Armenian I've ever seen that affirms infant baptism. Maybe I just need to meet more people. Well, what do you think the contradiction is? Dr. Jordan Cooper's moving. Maybe that's why. What's the most hard to answer argument that an atheist gave you? None now, to be completely honest. They're all kind of low tier. They've all been played out. Maybe when I was new. When I was brand new, the argument about, what was it? It was about the bears and Elijah, or Elisha and the bears, where the youth says in the Bible, the youth say, they're mocking Elijah and they're saying, oh, bald head or whatever. And then God sends the bears and it kills, basically kills them all. So that took me off guard when I was very new. But if you were to actually look at the context, they're throwing rocks at this guy. They're known for stoning Christians within this town. So his life was actually in danger. So, I mean, I don't know, stuff like that. I think the most annoying part about debating atheists, which I don't really have an issue debating them, you just have to pick your topic so they don't gish gallop. Which, if you don't know, is where they just throw out multiple questions over and over and over and over and over again without letting you answer. So that's what what's his name? Voice of Reason did with Ubi Petrus in their debate recently, where he was like, oh, so they actually, it's not actually infallibly defined. Oh, actually, what about this? What about your bishop? Oh, actually, what about this? What about this? And he would like let him get like one word out and then would jump into the next question. That's a gish gallop. So atheists do that a lot with Bible verses taken out of context to make it sound like the Bible's evil. So they do that quite a bit. Let me see. Will I do a video with the Martin Luther? Yeah, let me get right to that. Let me dig him up and have him come on the channel. Debate Redeem Zoomer on predestination. I try pretty specifically not to do inter-Protestant debates. I don't know. I may change that. I may change that policy to debate this dispensationalist guy, because I think dispensationalism is a particularly dangerous doctrine and teaching. It's got real world ramifications. The whole world saw that with the Ted Cruz thing that happened recently. Iron Inquisitor is a gym dude, though. He has a long relationship with the Iron. Hey, then we're brothers in that regard. That's right. Gotta get the pump going. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if you would ever want to have me on the channel to do some kind of conversation, I'd go hit the gym with that guy. Do some jujitsu, whatever. I would. All right. This is the new premise for a debate concept. Okay, Trent Horn does jujitsu. All right. So we come up with whatever theological concept we want to debate. Whoever submits the other person first wins. That's the future of Protestant apologetics, the future of Christian apologetics. All future Christian debates are going to be handled through jiu-jitsu. All right, let's see. What books, documents you read for apologetics for, dude, way too much for me to list here. Way too much. Yeah, exactly. Sky Daddy, Sky Daddy. That's obnoxious. I'm so glad we're out of that era of atheist YouTube. What would be your response to Redeem Zoomer saying that non-denom pastors are their own popes? I mean, I don't really have one. I don't think he's done some videos on non-denominational. His real issue with non-denominational churches is their views on the sacraments. And I don't particularly hold that view that they're symbolic. So he would have the same issue with, say, like a Baptist that he would with a non-denominational church. So, I mean, he said in the past, that he doesn't have necessarily an issue with me because I hold to a historic view on the sacraments. Ultimately, I think that would be beneficial for non-denominational churches if they were to be reformed and hold to a more historic view on the sacraments. I think that would benefit Christianity as a whole. So I would really love to see that going forward. More and more non-denominational churches holding to the real presence, holding to baptismal regeneration. Any update on this Mamdani guy? I haven't seen anything on X yet. I don't think they're the results out yet. Keith Foskey does karate. Nice. He posted a meme recently that got me pretty good. Hold on, let me share this with you. So I was on his channel not that long ago, which was really cool. I might do some more stuff with him. I might actually have him on this channel soon again. We'll see. I'll offer and see if I can do something maybe in August, because this whole month's kind of booked out. Any other questions you guys want to ask, leave them in the live stream chat. Put a Q in front of it and I'll get to them. If you guys want to send in super chats, I really appreciate it. Consider becoming a member too, because we're doing a lot of member stuff lately. I'm posting at least 1 or 2 members videos a week. I'm going to do some members only live streams when we get some more members in there. There's going to be members only debates that pop in first for members and then go live for the public 2 weeks later. So consider becoming a member. We're going to do a lot of really cool stuff there. Is evangelical non-denom? Yeah, usually they're synonymous. There are denominational churches that are evangelical as well, but non-denominationals are typically evangelical. All right, I'm going to share my screen real quick and pull up this meme from Keith Foskey. I thought was kind of funny because he pegged me dead to rights. All right, let me see here. So he did what if the denominations were diet soda? And then he got me dead to rights. Look at the Sam's Choice right there. Sam's Choice, non-denominational. It's over, boys. It's over. He got me dead to rights. He got me pegged there. Oh, it's over. He knew I drank the Diet Sam's. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. I thought that was pretty funny. Would you ever do a video with the other Paul? He was on the channel a while ago on a open panel call-in stream. Fun fact. Yeah, he cooked you. Delete the channel, man. Yeah, it's over. It's over. I might as well quit now. He figured out I drink the Diet Sam's. That's rough. In my city, there's a majority of evangelical churches. Yeah, rough. What do you think? What do you think it looked like to practically obey God? Please be specific. What do you mean, please be specific? You want me to give you a full list? Read the Bible. Read the Bible. For Mamdani, Poly Market went to 90% for him in the last hour. Well, pray for America. Pray for America. If we get this Islamic mayor in, it's basically over for New York City. And then you can guarantee that we're going to see more and more Muslim mayors in major cities. And then we're going to become just like the UK, overran. Absolutely overran. What? You ever read into the Orthodox critique of Protestantism based on the medieval influence of nominalism, where justification is based off of? That's a very specific question. Are you talking about the straw man argument in which they pull that one Protestant scholar that says they think it didn't exist in the early church? Because that's usually what people do. It's quote mine apologetics. They'll just say, oh, this one guy, this has to be has to be what he means. Yeah. What is a good starting point for someone interested in studying church history? Start with the ecumenical councils. Read the canons of the ecumenical councils. So that way you can see what they actually decreed. Read the first 7. It doesn't take you that long. The Council of Trullo has more canons than the other 7 ecumenical councils. You can read all 7, all the canons of all 7 ecumenical councils in one day if you wanted to. It doesn't take that long. The minutes take a long time to read through, but you can read the canons of all 7 ecumenical councils very quickly. Another very early, easy book for people that are early on in their like church history, diving into church history would be the Didache. It's very short, very small book. You can get through that quickly. I would recommend shorter texts if you're new to it, because otherwise you'll get very overwhelmed quickly. Some people I know will pick up books like City of God and just get discouraged and stop reading it like halfway through. It's over 1,000 pages. So find the smaller texts. Read those first. How do I pray without ceasing? So there's two types of praying. I'm going to make it very simple. There's like boots on praying, boots off praying. You can pray in your head. You could have formal prayer. So formal prayer is like you're on your knees. You're going through either like your Book of Common Prayer. Hold on. Let me grab my Book of Common Prayer without knocking this stuff over real quick. Go through like your Book of Common Prayer. You've got your formal prayers, or you're like praying at the end of the night on your knees. Then you've got your kind of boots on prayer where you're going throughout your day and you're praying in your head. You have a consistent dialogue with God as you go throughout the day. Get really good at praying in your head throughout the day. That's how you foster a good relationship with God. That gets very difficult to do if you're living in willful sin, because you're going to harden your heart. You will not want to do it. You'll think it's pointless when you harden your heart through willful sin. So be obedient to God. Don't sin willfully. And when you do, confess it to somebody and pray so your heart can be healed. The Apostolic Fathers are on Amazon for sale right now, going for about $14. You talk about the Philip Schaff set, the Ante-Nicene Fathers. Do you ever see yourself moving out of non-denominationalism? Sure. Yeah, the only thing that holds me back from joining the LCMS is the Crux Theological. I cannot accept Lutheranism without ironing out that issue with their soteriology. So that's the biggest thing that holds me back from from joining the LCMS, would be that particular issue. And yeah, I don't know. No, Lexham Press. Okay. More so the idea that the Protestant view of justification is a later development. I've read Alistair. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They cite Alistair McGrath. That's it. The one Protestant scholar that said that it wasn't present within the early church. They don't read anybody else. I had a debate with somebody on this topic not that long ago, and they tried to bring up this is like the papist, Eastern Orthodox, end-all, be-all argument against sola fide is just citing Alistair McGrath over and over and over again as the one scholar that says that imputed righteousness isn't present within the early church. I mean, that's like me taking any one scholar that agrees with my position on the Eastern Orthodox side and just citing them over and over and over again and asserting that it's true. The counterpoint to that would be cite literally any other scholar that says something different. There was a guy that I had a debate with, and I sent him a list of scholars that say otherwise. So that would be the way to approach those types of debates. And have that ready if you're going into a sola fide debate, because that's kind of their only argument, is bringing up Alistair McGrath. So he's a Protestant. He agrees with me. He's a Protestant. He agrees with me. Find one Protestant that agrees with you. It's a defeater. It's a defeater for your position. If you guys have questions, leave them in the live stream chat, and I'll get to them as soon as they pop in. We're waiting to see whether or not this Muslim mayor was elected. Did he win? Are we cooked? Is it over? What do you think? Is it over, chat? Is America going to fall to Islam? Yeah, hopefully not. That would be a mess. That would be an absolute mess. So yeah, we have, again, for those of you that are just joining, There's an election in New York City right now for the Democrat primary. There's a socialist guy who is a Muslim who stated he wants to make New York City more Islam friendly, and he wants to become the mayor of New York City. Right now, he's currently in the lead. So pray for New York City. Would I consider someone a Christian if they deny Jesus has come in the flesh? No, I would not. Absolutely not. Yeah, Clement of Rome's epistle to the Corinthians said salvation by faith apart from works in chapter 32. Yeah, I cite Clement of Rome a lot in sola fide discussions. What would you say to Lutherans who say your Arminian view of makes faith a work? What? What Lutheran would say my Arminian view makes faith a work? The difference is God's foreknowledge of if we stay in the faith. No Lutheran would say if you become an apostate, you're saved. So I've never heard a Lutheran push back on that and say that the Arminian view makes faith a work. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, maybe if they're saying like faith isn't a gift or something. I mean, you have to accept Christ. He calls first. You answer the call, though. You know what I mean? I just if you were to make it so that you're predestined to heaven and it is not in accordance with foreknowledge, then you have the theologian's cross, because you're not predestined to hell according to their soteriology. That's why they've gotten themselves in a bind. The crux theologium. They just say it's a mystery. So that would be the biggest issue that I have. Western countries import people that don't belong here. Challenge impossible. All right, yeah. Let's see. No, that's Gnostic. Yeah, absolutely. I saw videos where they say Yahweh was worshipped alongside a pantheon of gods, yet I wondered to myself, didn't the Bible talk about Jewish people worshiping other deities? So there's a young man at my church that asked me the same question. These videos got super popular for some reason in the last, I don't know, couple of years. They'll say oh, God, actually El, he's a storm god. Elohim is a storm god, El from the Canaanites or whatever, right? Absolutely ridiculous. Inspiring Philosophy did a whole bunch of videos debunking this claim. But I mean, atheists will just come up with any absurd conspiracy theory to back up their fake religion of unbelief. Yeah, and I would call it a religion. It's a belief in nothing. Yeah, storm daddy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's an absolutely absurd claim. So if you were to look at what the Canaanites actually did, they appropriated gods from other religions around them. So they appropriated Elohim from the Jews and turned him into something within their pantheon. They were kind of known for doing that, but Elohim was worshipped amongst the Jews first. He was not a storm god. Let's see. What other questions I got? What denomination would you be if you weren't non-denominational? I mean, probably I would join the LCMS. I just have an issue with their soteriology. That's my issue there. Hey, Cleve, blessings from Canada. Keep fighting for the faith. Appreciate you. Darwin was originally a Canaanite storm god. Yeah, that's tough, dude. If I become a Scandinavian Lutheran, you have to subscribe to the Augsburg Confession and the Small Catechism. Just saying. A Scandinavian Lutheran? How does that work? I'd have to go live in Scandinavia. You know, a lot of Lutheran churches, though, outside of the LCMS and Wells, have really fallen to modernity. Like the ELCA, a lot of the, like you said, like the state-run Lutheran churches are not very solid as far as their views on like women's ordination and Skittle stuff. And those are non-starters for me. I will never be a part of a church that ordains women. Never, ever in my entire life. I respond to an what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. Do I believe in theistic evolution? I don't hold a hard stance on it either way. I think it's plausible. I don't believe in evolution of types, like a change of types, but microevolution, possibly true. Do I believe in young earth creationism? That would be another topic. I talked about this in one of the other live streams, in which I went through a big fat list of church father citations that have different takes on young earth creationism, whether or not it was a literal 6-day creation. Some church fathers held that there was like each day was 1,000 years, like a literal 1,000 years. So it was a thick 6,000 year creation. Some said it was creation outside of time. Origen was one of those people that said it was a creation outside of time. Clement of Alexandria said the same thing. He said, how can time exist before material existed? Which is kind of interesting because he's talking about the theory of relativity in like the 3rd century, 3rd, 4th century. Thoughts on presuppositional apologetics? Yeah, I talked about tag on Ruslan. I love presuppositional apologetics with atheists. I mean, I think it's good. I think it's good to use with Eastern Orthodox. I do it all the time. That's basically what I do when I press them on the ecumenical councils. What is your epistemic basis for accepting tradition as infallible? That is your kind of presupposition in your worldview. You have 2 of them for your authority. You have infallible tradition, you have infallible scripture, both of them simultaneously. So what is the epistemic basis of your acceptance of these infallible traditions? Where is this documented? What's your epistemic foundation? Where are you pulling this from? Right? Well, it's got to be the ecumenical councils. Okay, so let's press into that a little more. What about the ecumenical councils are infallible? Some will say falsely, oh, well, it's separated between, if it's an Eastern Orthodox. Roman Catholics have a different answer. Eastern Orthodox will say, well, it's separated between the dogma and doctrine or whatever, which is not true. There is no just divinum, just humanum distinction in the East. That is a Western concept. A lot of Eastern Orthodox don't even understand their own faith. They don't understand their own tradition or their church. Just humanum, just divinum distinction does not exist within the Eastern Orthodox worldview. Read the Rudder, read the Nomo Canon, read the Eastern Orthodox Canon Law Reference Guidebook, read any of these texts on Eastern Orthodox canon law. The canons are meant to be held. Okay, it's not like there is a distinction between dogma and doctrine within the ecumenical councils and their canons. It's not like, oh, well, we're just going to pick and choose from these canons. It's not the way it works. I've heard some say only the stuff that's got an anathema attached to it. That's nonsense. It's pop apologetics. People don't know what they're talking about. Read any of these texts. All right. These are Eastern Orthodox sources. I'm not just making this up off the top of my head. Okay. So you push into that even deeper. If the canons are the basis of your infallible tradition claims, if that is the epistemic basis of this, because it's not just the general idea of the ecumenical councils. Okay. Oh, Arius was a bad guy, or Nestorius was a bad guy. Just the general idea, that's not the case at all. It's the canons. And if you don't hold to the canons, then you're not holding to your own epistemic foundation. Your worldview descends into nonsense and subjectivity. Especially if you're going to claim that as your infallible basis. Like the tradition as infallible. You're not being consistent, rather. You're infallible. Something that you hold to be infallible is actually subjective. Anyway, Napoleon never was an emperor. He was a foot ranker who claimed to be the emperor. All right, what do you think about Lutheran Christology, divine attributes, clothing the human nature? I don't have too many thoughts about it. Let's see. Traditional versus contemporary worship? I like traditional worship better. I like the hymns better. I'm not a huge fan of contemporary worship. I think people are craving tradition right now. I think in like non-denominational churches and otherwise, though, people will typically go and expect contemporary worship in that kind of an environment. But I prefer traditional worship. Let me just share a video with you. I want to show you an Anglican church that I visited in New York City, which I'm sure is probably liberal, but we were just walking by it and happened to pop in. I didn't stay for the entire thing, but they were having like a Latin a Latin choir mass, and it was probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Let me show you this. This was an Anglican church in New York City. Right here. Let me see if I can. But yeah, absolutely, absolutely beautiful. Probably one of the most beautiful choir services I've ever attended. It was awesome. You can see you can see like the light shining in through the incense, that it's just shining through the stained glass. Very beautiful. But yeah, I love traditional worship better. Absolutely. Would I ever consider doing a library tour? Sure. I mean, yeah, I don't mind that. The vast majority of the text though that I use on ebooks. I do have a bunch of physical books as well, but the vast majority of texts that I use are ebooks because I don't like to waste my reading. I'll compile all this stuff into like a Google Doc and reference it during debates and other things like that. But hey, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and like the live stream so we get more people watching this. If you want to send in a super chat, greatly appreciated. It helps the stream continue so I can keep making these videos and pumping out content for you, making good arguments for you to follow along with. I know tonight's subject's a little bit different, messing around with the format. I think maybe we need to get some more people interested in these Islam debates, Islam apologetics. So that'll be a good thing. All right, let's see what else. Any other questions? If you want to ask me questions, put a Q in front of your comment there and I'll get to it as it pops in. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it was awesome. Absolutely. Attending Korean churches my entire life, there's often a worship style divide. Our Korean services often go the traditional route, but our English services go the modern worship route. Yeah, I definitely prefer the traditional worship style. Favorite seminaries, if I had to pick one. The one that I attend, Covington Theological Seminary. Do Anglicans like Father James believe in intercession of the saints? And are they Arminian? Isn't he Anglo-Catholic? Father James does not believe in intercession of the saints, but there are Anglicans that do believe in intercession of the saints. I just had on Anglican Aesthetics, Sean Luke, and he says that he believes in intercession of the saints. So I guess it's a differing opinion within their tradition there. Good question, though. All right, let's see if there's any update on this guy. Did he win? Did he lose? Let's see. Any update on this gentleman here? I'm going to pull it up real quick. Mamdani, mayor. Any update here? He leads initial round of New York mayoral primary, but no result here. I wonder when we'll actually have the result. He's in the lead currently. Yeah, I think he's probably going to win. I think it's safe to say that that guy probably won the primary. I called it for Mamdani. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's tough. Pray for Eric Williams to win general. Hopefully, but New York is super liberal. So I don't think they're going to get a conservative. I don't think they're going to get anybody good in there. I think it's probably going to end up being Mamdani winning because they're very left leaning, even though their entire state's basically fallen apart since the COVID lockdowns and all that stuff. Everybody kind of moved to Florida. They all fled New York, but you know who's doing the fleeing was conservatives. So all the conservatives left. All that's left there is Democrats. Intercession of the saints isn't in the BCP, so it's shunned as outside the church and heterodox often. I think that's the common take by Anglicans. I think that is the kind of standard take by Anglicans is that the intercession of the saints is not not accurate. If humans were cooked. Yeah, absolutely. All right. How do I explain to a woman I'm talking to the difference between non-denominational concert style and Lutheranism? I'm LCMS, but I found it hard to really get her to understand the tradition part. Talk to her about, talk to her about historical Christianity. I mean, you have to, it depends on how good your relationship was with this woman. If she's just not interested in the traditional aspect of church, you got to send her the based Crusader edits. You got to send her the normie stuff first. Get her hyped up about traditional Christianity. Send her the based Crusader edits. Send her the based Martin Luther edit. I think I might actually have that edit somewhere. Do I have that Martin Luther meme edit? It's probably got copyrighted music on it though, so I don't want the stream to get taken down. That's the annoying part about doing stuff on YouTube, is all the copyright nonsense. People just like grabbing your stream and taking it down. That is the annoying part. Yeah, send her based edits. That's my advice to you. Why is Gen Z more religious? Asking as a Gen Z guy. Well, we just came out of a long period of time in which the most cringe atheists known to man were throwing out the most low tier arguments, but they were winning people over. They would just say like, Bible God evil, Bible God mean, and they would spam that. There's a website that's literally called evilbible.com, and all of these atheists will go through line by line and gish gallop these arguments over and over and over and over again. We're coming out of that phase. We've seen what atheism has done to society. It's really had society fall apart. I mean, you look at what the UK is going through right now. They just passed a law where you can basically babies in the womb up until birth. So, I mean, it's absolutely over for them. They have laws where it's like assisted. Oh, are you're sad? Well, you know what I mean? Your doctor's not going to help you if you're mentally ill anymore. He's just going to put you down like a dog. So I think people have seen the dystopian nightmare that happens when society becomes more secular. And it's really left a lot of young men with the feeling like life is empty, like they're missing something. Because this is the thing, if you're an atheist, life is meaningless for you. That's really it. I mean, if you're an atheist, your life is meaningless in the long run. You might think, oh, well, you know, I get these dopamine hits. That's basically what you're living for. You're living for dopamine hits you find in relationships. You're living for a dopamine hit that you find in whatever other fun activity that you do. You're basically wasting time until you die. Because when you die, you don't take any of your money with you. You don't take any of your relationships with you except for your relationship with Jesus Christ. You don't take none of that stuff with you. So ultimately, your life is meaningless. So you're sitting there and you're like, what am I doing all of this for? Sure, I might be able to leave behind a legacy, but I don't even get to enjoy it. Because after this, it's just a blank screen, game over. Atheism is the most depressing thing that I can possibly imagine. And I think people are waking up to that. We had the atheist experiment for the last, decade, maybe 2 decades. It's failed miserably. It's ended in the reduction of Christianity in the West has ended in basically an Islamic invasion in all Western countries. The United States is next. So strap in. This is what we're going to have to deal with. Mass persecution of Christians. But people are waking up to it. They're sick of it. And they're realizing that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. So, yeah, exactly. We got tired of secularism being stuffed down our throats. Absolutely. Absolutely. Redeem Zimmer was right. If you schism from the mainline New York, then New York falls to the liberals. The concept is true. The guy, Bob the Builder, was talking about something like this. The guy that does the apologetics in the UK, the street debates with the Muslims. He was saying that we need to get some strong people within the Church of England again to retake that institution. I think that needs to happen. I think we need to get some strong people into these institutions to retake them. Yeah, I think he's absolutely right when it comes to the conservative tendency to run away and form your own thing. That has its ramifications. Also, guys, like the live stream if you haven't already, so we can get some more people in here. Send super chats if you want to support the channel. Consider getting a membership. Really, really helps out. If you have questions, put a Q before your comment there, and I'll go ahead and answer them. We're doing a kind of Q&A thing while we wait on the decision. Probably not going to find out for a while. I think I'm gonna wrap up here maybe in, I don't know. I might go for another 30 minutes if we keep getting comments in here. Yeah, Bible God mean. That's basically what their arguments have ended up being. Bible God mean. Bible God mean. Ooh. Yeah, if God good, why no GF? I made a video about that when I first started this channel, actually. It was like, Christian men, man up. That legitimately is the mentality of some people when they first come to the faith. They're like, oh, my faith is so shaken because I have no GF. My faith is so shaken. How can I trust God if he won't give me a GF? There are people that genuinely think like that, which is ridiculous. This is the truth. This is the truth. God, you answer the problem of evil in a very simple way. You can answer this in a very simple way. The Free Will Theodicy by Thomas Aquinas. I use it all the time. I've taught classes on this at my church. I teach apologetics courses where we answer atheist questions all the time. I might dive into some of those topics as well on this channel, but I used to do it. I might have done a video on this already where we're going through the Free Will Theodicy. If you have not looked into that, look it up. Basically, it's something along the lines of this. If God exists, why do bad things happen? Right? If God, why do bad things happen? Which is like the most low tier argument that you could throw out, but it's been argued for millennia. The answer to it is this: God created us for the same reason that I have children, okay, to be the objects of his affection. Are you able to actually love someone if it is forced? Like if I were to just grab my wife and say, love me, like, you got to love me. Is that real love? Like, or if I have like a little robot that I programmed to say, I love you, Pastor Ben, is that actual love? No, it's fake. So he can't just make puppets, right? We have to have free will. We have to be able to choose him in order to actually love God. Now, the opposite side of that, though, is if we have free will, we are able to choose to do evil. We're able to choose to do evil. Now, what is evil? Evil is a privation of good. Evil is a privation of good. And God, being divinely simple, he doesn't have attributes. He's not composite. It's not like he has a hand, arm, elbow, head. He's not composed of parts, but he is good, right? He is goodness itself. Apart from God, there is no goodness. He is justice itself. Apart from God, there is no justice. So that's divine simplicity, right? So if God isn't composed of parts and he's divinely simple and he is goodness itself, then when our wills are in opposition to his will, a privation of goodness, that's what evil is. So privation. Imagine there's like a pie chart on here. There's a little section carved out. That section carved out there is evil. So we have to have free will. If we didn't have free will, it would make point one impossible. But this is the thing. You'll have people who will use the kind of like Epicurean paradox. They'll say, well, if God's all powerful, why doesn't he just create a world where we have free will and we can't do evil? Well, that's a contradiction of point number one. An infringement upon the will. Okay. An infringement upon the will would make it so that, well, we're robots. We can't choose to love him. We have to have free will in order to actually fulfill the first purpose, which was to have the objects of his affection and also for us to love him. So it's a good way to refute the problem of evil. Problem of natural evil is solved by the angelic fall theodicy. Gavin Ortland did a very good video detailing the angelic fall theodicy. I think it's pretty good argument. I might make a video on this soon. If you guys want to see a video on that, let me know. Maybe I'll detail that. Maybe I'll make it a members thing. I don't know. Guys, if you want to see more like custom content, if you guys become members, I will do videos on whatever topic you want me to discuss. I'll get you suited up and ready for apologetics war. You want to know about a certain topic? I'll if you're a member, you got a little more sway on what I record for the members videos. So consider joining, and I'll make some videos on some topics that maybe don't perform so well on the like standard YouTube. You know what I mean? What are some of the main issues with Eastern Orthodoxy in your opinion? Main issues with Eastern Orthodoxy, I think inconsistency in their infallibility claims. It's very obvious that infallible tradition isn't actually infallible when you push them on the epistemic basis for its infallibility. Some of them will just deflect and they'll say, oh, you just don't understand because you're a Protestant. We just listen to the church. We listen to the church. We listen to the church. That's not an epistemic basis. You have to show me where it's actually like verified, documented. Because if it's just listen to the church, what are you talking about? Just whatever the bishop says goes? Well, if that's the case, then your system is subjective. You have no infallible epistemic foundation for your infallible tradition. So I think that would be one of the biggest defeaters for Eastern Orthodoxy, which is why I push the canon law angle so much. Another issue that I have with them, I guess, would be their views on Mary as mediatrix. Also, some of the issues with the leadership. If you were to look at some of the things that Archbishop Elpidophoros, some of the things that EP has said, some of the things the Moscow Patriarchate has said, absolutely insane. Like all religions lead to God type statements. Our Patriarch Kirill said something along the lines of Muslims have the same morals as Christians. Absolutely insane statements like that. My churches near me have a lot of young people coming in. What about you, Pastor Ben? Yeah, absolutely. I think we're seeing more and more young men and women coming to the faith. Bob at Speaker's Corner. Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm a little behind on the comments here. Hold on. Have I ever prayed the Litany of Humility? I'm Lutheran, but love that prayer. No, I don't believe so. Let's see here. Yes. All right. What's the deal with holy water? Does it do anything? I'm not Catholic, so I don't really know anything about it. Yeah, I think God can use material things to accomplish his will. He does this quite often in the scriptures. If you were to notice when he heals the blind man, what does he use to heal the blind man? He uses his spit. He rubs it on his eyes. So for people to say that objects can't be blessed, I think that's kind of inconsistent with what the scripture actually teaches about these things. So yeah. I think objects can be blessed. I think they can be used for God's purposes. I think if your intention is correct, God can give you grace through that. Now, I don't think it's like, oh, well, it's like a magic ritual type thing. Like, I got to get the formula absolutely correct, or this water is actually not blessed, it's cursed or something. I think you can go a little far. There's a video, actually, I'll just show you something of people going too far with this type of stuff. Like the Orthodox saint relics. There's a huge issue with that. There's a popular video that I used to talk about quite a bit. It's kind of old now, but you guys might not have seen it. It's Orthodox foot water, where they have a relic of a Orthodox saint's foot, and the guy is blessing it with the holy water, or he's blessing the water with the saint's foot. So he's pouring the water through this guy's dead foot, and then everybody goes and they're grabbing it to drink the dead guy's foot water.
So he wants it.
Delicioso. My favorite beverage. That was one that was missing from the Keith Foskey chart. The foot water for the Orthodox. Yeah, I think there's a lot of issues with relics in Eastern Orthodoxy. I guess that would be a big issue there, especially in like the more rural areas. That's a very famous video. If you just type in, oof, I just ate, bro. My bad, bro. Yeah, as soon as the foot came in on screen, I was like, I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of issues with the Eastern Orthodox relics and things like that. I think it can be taken way, way, way too far. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go back to the questions and see what I have in line. Thoughts on eternal security? No, I don't believe in once saved, always saved at all. And I think anybody who is serious into church history, anybody who is serious about Christian apologetics and debates on these topics, you'll find anybody who holds to once saved, always saved loses debates quite often. Perseverance of the saints is a little bit different. But once saved, always saved is an untenable position. No offense to anybody that holds it, but just, that's it. All right, let's see. What other questions? I'm a Protestant trying to convert to Eastern Catholicism. What is my biggest problem on the planet? Is she truly worthy of our praise considering her love and how she clings to her son? Well, you don't have to be Roman Catholic to have praise for the Holy Theotokos, for the she is blessed amongst women, to have hold her in a high respect. I love the Blessed Theotokos. I just don't believe we should pray to her. Now, if you're going to become Eastern Catholic, you're going to have to hold that the Blessed Theotokos is the mediatrix of all graces, and that you cannot receive any grace aside from the intercessions of the Theotokos. That is actual Roman Catholic theology. She is considered the mediatrix of all graces. That would be the issue that I have with Roman Catholicism and their doctrines on the Theotokos. At least one of the major ones. Also, that the Immaculate Conception is obviously fake. If you were to have any level of interest in church history, you'll notice that very quickly. It's not something that's present within the early church. You do have around the 3rd and 4th century some statements about sinlessness, but they're more consistent with an Eastern version, pre-purification, than they are with Immaculate Conception, which is very specific, freedom of original sin. Even Roman Catholic scholars admit that they don't believe that this was actually like explicitly stated anywhere until after 1000 AD. So absolutely insane. I don't know if I would agree with that statement by these Roman Catholic scholars, but they do say that. So good question. I saw that, very disturbing. My bad. Yeah, thank you for the answer. Let's see what else. Different from once saved, always saved. Yeah, the Reformed position is different than once saved, always saved. Absolutely. All right. Any other questions before we wrap up here? I'll keep going if we have some questions, but if there's no more questions, I might just wrap up. If you guys haven't liked the live stream, go ahead and leave a like there. Knowing that God really did come in human form from the virgin body, glorified body, that really is the same body, I would think it is truly meet to call her the mediatrix. How does that logically follow? Because she gave birth to Jesus, she's really the mediatrix? I mean, would you say, let me ask you a question, David. You can answer in the comments here. Do you believe the Theotokos is omnipotent? Do you believe the Blessed Theotokos is omnipotent? What do you think? Yes or no? No? Okay. Well, I mean, that's Roman Catholic theology, that she is omnipotent. So that would have to be something that you wrestle with. Because if you were to read, Doctor of the Church, St. Alphonsus Liguori, Glories of Mary, which was written with the full approval of the Vatican. Okay, it has an official ecclesiastical approval. This text specifically states that Mary is omnipotent, and that is how she dispenses her graces. Right, she dispenses the graces that come from God. Basically, this is what the mediatrix of all graces does. Gets grace from God, then according to our merits, she then distributes the grace to each individual. Okay. Now, to be fair to their position, they don't hold that she's omnipotent due to her own like nature. She wasn't omnipotent by nature, but omnipotent by grace. So it's a very difficult position. But dude, to be completely honest, if you're dead set on becoming Eastern Catholic, I could tell you, I mean, nothing I say is really going to matter. Let me ask you another question. Do you think that the Theotokos is in some sense like God? Do you think the Theotokos is in some sense God? What do you think? You can answer that in the questions, David, in the comments here. Do you think according to the glories of Mary that the Theotokos is in some sense God? No, of course, man. Okay, well, what if the glories of Mary said, well, she's omnipotent by grace, but since she has been through the process of theosis, since she carried our blessed Lord, right? She is in some sense God, according to St. Alphonsus Liguori. What would you say to that? She's in some sense God. Would you accept that in order to become Eastern Catholic? You can answer in the comments here. Go ahead and let me know. Are you still here? Would you say in agreement with well, I'm just asking you, would you accept that if that's Catholic teaching according to Doctor of the Church St. Alphonsus Liguori, that she is in some sense God? Is it just a yes or no? I don't think he's going to answer the question. Just give me a yes or no, man. Or I'm going to move on to another topic here. Would you, in order to become so by grace, she's in some sense God? This is my point, okay? This is my point. So I just made all of that up. That last part there, I just made all of that up. If you're willing to become Roman Catholic to that extent, you're going to accept any nonsense that the Roman Catholic Church tells you to believe, even if it is clear idolatry. So, no, St. Alphonsus Liguori does not say that she is in some sense God. But I said that to show you that no matter what the Roman Catholic Church says about the Theotokos, you're willing to accept that even if it is blatant idolatry, just to LARP. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, though. I make videos all the time citing Roman Catholic saints, doctors of the church that say the most blasphemous stuff about the Blessed Theotokos that would make her weep if she was right in front of me. Would make her absolutely weep. So I mean, I could make a short tomorrow and attribute it to a doctor of the church and say, well, this is actual teaching. This is written with the approval of the Vatican. Do you think this is true? The Blessed Theotokos is in some sense God. And a lot of Roman Catholics would just go along and agree with it, like you just did just now. So I'm just saying, man, if that's where your heart's at, you got to examine yourself. The Blessed Theotokos, she's blessed amongst women. I have so much love for the Theotokos. She's God's mother. She's Jesus Christ's mother. Jesus, who is fully God, fully man. I have the utmost respect for her. I don't believe she's mediatrix of all graces. I don't believe that, any of that stuff, co-redemptrix, all of that kind of stuff. Dogmatizing Immaculate Conception and Assumption are the biggest modern blasphemies of the Roman Catholic Church, in my opinion. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Father Joseph? Good to see you, brother. God bless you. Did you see that True Orthodox edit? There was a channel, True Orthodox channel, that edited a part of my debate with Jay Dyer. It was kind of funny. I want to play it on the screen, but I think it'll get the video taken down because of copyright on the sound, on the music. Yeah, there was a guy. Man, I might just let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on. There was a guy that did a edit on one of my Jay Dyer things. I kind of want to play it, but I think it'll get my video taken down. Maybe if I just play a little bit of it. We'll take the risk. We'll take the risk. I'll just play a little bit of it. All right, hold on. So this is from Old Calendar Zealot.
Times I have to tell you that the bishop can determine these things. That's what we just said for the 5th time.
Yeah, in each individual case, man. In each individual case. That's oikonomia, right? But not whether or not you outright reject the canon.
No, that's exactly what they can do. They can decide that canon no longer applies.
Okay, no longer applies in perpetuity?
Yeah, sure.
Now that is in. I thought that was hilarious. I like the memes there at the end. It's Wover, World Orthodox. It's so funny. I posted that on X. I was like, Yeah, should be safe if not full review. Yeah, we'll see. Who knows? But yeah, I thought that was funny. Yeah, well, it's not. He doesn't hold the copyright for that song, though. That's the thing. They don't care if it's in shorts, but this kind of stuff. But I thought that was pretty funny. The Roadcore clip with the self-anathematizing thing is the best thing I've seen on YouTube in months. Yeah, that was rough, man. The Roadcore archbishop that was basically like, yeah, we anathematized ourselves with the 1980 anathema. Whoops. Whoops. Not the 4chan brain rot. All right, you guys got any other questions before I wrap up here? If you haven't, go ahead and leave a like on the stream. Any other questions? Yeah, Bishop Gabriel. Yeah, that was interesting. That was an interesting video. If not, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. If there are no more further questions, I've got some live streams coming up. Here very soon with Kelly Powers tomorrow. So that'll be interesting. Then I've got Javier Perdomo the day after that. Several other live stream collaborations. I'm going to be on some other channels as well. So let me see. Why do I think iconoclasm is false, even though it sounds like that is the second commandment? Okay, great. Yeah, let me take these last two questions, then I'll wrap up. So why do I think iconoclasm is false? The reason I think that is because if you were to read the scriptures, look at what was inscribed, what was actually on the Ark of the Covenant. Well, you have basically carvings of the cherubim. You have the cherubim on top. What do you have on the curtains in the tabernacle? You have images. You have the cherubim, right? What did God command them to look at in order to be healed in the desert, right? You have the staff. So, I mean, I don't think that the images in and of themselves are wrong. God literally commands images to be made throughout the Bible. So you would have to reconcile that if you held to a no images at all view. You would have to reconcile that with the commands of God. Now, you might be able to kind of like twist your way around that, but I don't think that's true. I think it has to do with the actual disposition of your heart. Idolatry has always been an issue of the heart, not necessarily just what you're doing. You have like David bowing before a king. Is bowing idolatry in and of itself? No, it's about the disposition of your heart. That's why you see John, when he bows before the angel corrects him. But David, when he bows before the king, it's not like God strikes him down right there or something. So iconoclasm, I don't think makes too much sense. You see in the Bible, the angels on the ark, also on the tabernacle, and several other places. So, would you debate Father Peter Hears? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I would debate Father Peter Hears. 100%. I'll debate anybody. I don't really care. Just depends on what the subject is. The thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to accept this like really dumb, stupid debate premise. Like some of these guys will try to trap you in the debate premise and not allow you to press their position. That's kind of the new shady way to conduct debates. A lot of the Catholic Answers guys do this. They'll say, well, we're going to set up a debate, but you have to debate only defending your position and you can't question mine. That's not the way debate should be conducted. But I'll debate anybody. Anybody can call into my stream at any time and I'll debate them. I don't care. Call into my stream. If you want to debate me, if you've got any kind of following, let me know, dude. You can come onto my channel. We can have a debate. But I'm not going to take time for people that don't have any kind of following to do an individual one-off stream. You know what I mean? But I do the open debate stuff all the time. They can come on my channel. I'll do formal debates if the premise is good. Sure. Yeah, it's such dishonesty. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Cleave to Antiquity. Please pray for me. I'm still Protestant, even though I'm converting. Absolutely, man. I hope that what I was saying earlier about the Blessed Theotokos puts a pebble in your shoe. Continue to pray over this particular issue, and I will say a prayer for you after the. I'll just say a prayer for you now. I'm assuming your name is actually David, so I'll just pray for you now. Heavenly Father, God, God, we come before you today grateful for your presence, Lord. I pray over David. God, bless him and bless his family. God, I pray that you guide David down the path that you want him to go on. God, my understanding is very limited, Lord. My understanding is limited. I'm a composite creature. I'm composed of parts. I'm not you, God. You are omnipotent. You are all powerful. You are the creator. You are the Alpha and the Omega. So God, guide David down the path that you want him to go on, and give him the grace and the understanding to know whether or not it is you guiding him or if it is his own doubts and anxiety. Lord God, I pray that you bless him, bless the viewers of this video, and it is in Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen. Let's see. Petition for Cleve to debate Sam. Yeah, I would debate Sam. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. It's getting kind of late, and I've got to do some stuff in the morning, but thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. Got a lot of really cool stuff coming up. Let me just pull up my live tab and remind you what we have coming up on this channel, because it's going to be quite a bit, and you should get excited for some of the events that we've got going on. I've got a lot of collaborations. I'll be on other channels as well. Kind of what I'm doing, the kind of like upload cadence for the collabs. Every single Thursday, I've got somebody coming on the channel, and we're going to do some kind of collab. So you can find that all on the live tab of my channel. And I'm going to do also appearances on other people's channels every single Thursday. So I'm doing like 2 streams every Thursday each week, and then I'll do the regular videos throughout the week. But let me just share this with you, remind you what I have coming up so you can get excited for it. Go ahead and like those live streams if you are pumped to see what's coming up on there. All right, so we've got Kelly Powers coming on the channel tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about Vatican II. Do Muslims have the same God as Christians? Okay. I've got Javier Perdomo coming in the day after that. Anthony Rogers will be swinging by the channel on July the 3rd. Joshua Shuping, the former Eastern Orthodox preacher, is coming back to the channel on the 10th to talk about why you should join the LCMS instead of Eastern Orthodox Church. We'll continue on the 11th. Redeemed Zoomer is coming by the channel to talk about Protestant apologetics. And then on the 17th, I have a gentleman from Reasoned Answers who does a lot of videos on Islam. And he's going to tell you about how he got fired in the United States for speaking out against Islam online. For speaking out against Islam online, this guy got fired from his job in the United States. Absolutely insane. If you think this isn't coming to the U.S., this kind of mentality absolutely is coming. It's being imported here. If this guy wins, which it looks like he did, pray for the United States, pray for our country. It looks like this guy actually won. We don't know yet. We'll find out in the morning, but it's looking that way. Very rough. Then I have the guy from Answering Adventism who is starting a Protestant apologetics channel. He's already started, but he's going to come on and talk about some of the arguments that he's going to be putting forth on his new channel. And then again, first to the members. On August the 7th, there's going to be a debate between true Orthodox priest Father Joseph and Anglican priest Father James on the subject of sola scriptura. This will be for members only for the first 2 weeks, and then it will be open to the public after that point. So if you want to become a member, it really helps out the channel. You'll have access to these types of debates earlier than the public will. So it's a really cool thing. There's a lot of neat features with the membership program. It's kind of a new thing. If there's something you want to see me do in members, let me know and I will address those subjects. But anyway, get excited. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.